Okay, I got 4 o'clock.
Yep.
David, you can do the official stuff if you wouldn't mind, as far as, do we need to read old minutes or how do we start this? Oh, David, we can't hear you. You're muted.
How about now?
Yeah, we got you now.
Sorry.
Can you see me now?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Let's just see here.
Can you see me now?
Yeah. Call the meeting to order, 4:03. We have a quorum. Got Rob, Arnie, Mark, and Daniel. Who are we missing?
Rose.
Rose, and she's here. We're not missing.
So is that everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and we got a full quorum, nobody's absent. Meeting was posted as per the statutory guidelines, and usually first order of business, I'm just going by the agenda, but I'm gonna say, I think you need to approve your organizational, you have board meeting minutes from 2/7. Does anybody want to hear them?
I'd make a motion to waive the reading.
They were posted on Google Drive and YouTube, and everybody got that. I'll support that.
Okay, so that's marked as a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Moving on to old business, WSV remodeling projects update.
Hey, David, one moment. I'm doing the minutes.
Okay, I'm just taking notes.
Okay, great. I'll just let you know I'm doing the minutes.
Cool.
All right.
That's work for me. I love it.
So updates. WSB's moving along nicely. We've got one whole building. The sheetrock and spackle work is complete, except for the front wall where the windows are being put in. But all of those windows are put in. The sheetrock will be completed Monday, and the spacklers will finish that building up early part of next week. This building, or the second building, all the units are sheetrocked. They've started spackling in 41 and 42, and the remaining units will be spackled first coat tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, so only the spacklers are coming. Monday, they're supposed to finish the windows, and Tuesday, they're supposed to start the stucco work. Well, weather pending, I'll add. So that's kind of the update on the drywall and the windows. Laundry room is just about completed. They have a punch list of items to finish. But since the laundry equipment's been delayed until first week in April, they've been dedicating their time and moving forward with the other projects like the windows and the sheetrock. But the laundry room does look great. It's ready for the equipment. It's just a couple little punch list items. Electrical and plumbing would be the next thing on the agenda. We have a price from the electrician to do all the finish work. Once the sheetrock is done, they can come in and do that. Basically, that's really just entailing installing the missing outlets and switches that were removed for either because they were flooded or for the sheetrock to go up. We've got that bid. We've got the plumbing bid to do all the plumbing work. I mean, basically at this point, we're waiting on plumbing for the next phase. So I don't really have anything to talk about plumbing until we talk about some of the other things, I guess. So does anybody want to talk anything about what we've talked about yet? Anybody have any questions about what we talked about yet?
The plumbing would include the hot water heaters, the hooking up the kitchen sinks, the bathroom sinks, the toilets.
Correct to all. So
And the dishwashers.
the plumbing quote covers, I'll go room by room because it's a little bit easier. As you come in, the first thing would be the water closet or the hot water heater. They need to install a new hot water heater. Just beyond that would be the little half bath. They need to install a new toilet, a new service valve for said toilet, and hook up the sink that should have been removed during remediation for replacement. Not replacement, it was removed to be reinstalled. Some people may be missing their sinks because it seems as if the people that hired the one handyman had everything thrown out by whose ever orders, I don't know, but everything went, and I know people are missing countertops and toilets and things like that. Toilets are not being covered in the Helene claim. Okay, they covered us to detach and reset. Where I'm negotiating now with the adjuster to cover them in the Milton claim because they were detached and they floated. They all fell over. Some of them broke. So he's working on that with us. And hopefully we'll get more money because right now we don't have the money for that, but we also don't have the toilets. All right, so the next room would be the kitchen, and they will be installing a garbage disposal, service valves for the dishwasher, the sink, and any ice maker if the unit had an ice maker line. If you didn't have an ice maker line, they're not adding one. They're just dealing with what's there. What else in the kitchen? The dishwasher hookup, the sink hookup, and the garbage disposal is included.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on that so far? All right. So the next thing I got on the agenda.
One moment, someone just joined and via phone. Who is that?
Barbara Bellman.
Hello, Barbara. That's unit 53. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing that we have on the agenda to talk about is the flood claim. So I've learned a lot about flood insurance and flood claims in the past couple months. I cannot pass everything along to you guys in this meeting, but he's negotiating with us. There were some items that I pointed out that he missed: torn screens on the lanai hardware on the doors, the closing doors, the latching mechanisms. What else did I catch him on? Not much. He's pretty good. A few people had mirrored walls. That is something that he missed. So there will be some compensation made for the people that had mirrored walls. The toilets we're still negotiating on. And that's pretty much it, unless somebody else brings anything to my attention that you think they may have missed. But from me combing through this as long as I haven't found anything. Additional items requested, right? Okay, so we're kind of doing that. The next thing is the right way final payment. So Right Way's billed us two different bills for two different storms. It was $137,000 for Helene and change.
127.
Well, all right. It was 127 after the $10,000 deductible. So true. We spent 127. We spent 130 because we spent the deductible too. But that bill is paid. We still have the bill for the Milton claim, which they billed us $66,000 for that storm. If you've been following the emails, we were denied a good portion of that claim, and they gave us bullet points as to why they denied parts of the claim, and it was because Right Way overcharged for this. They charged overhead and profit on things they're not allowed to. So I've asked David to pay them 50,000 of the 66 that they owe us, since they're not really talking to us, negotiating, and they're holding steady. After briefly talking with the attorney about it, we don't want to get stuck owing a lot of interest if it goes that way. If it goes to court and they say, look, you got to pay interest also, it could really escalate the bill. So while we're negotiating, I know we're not going to make the whole bill go away. They didn't overcharge us that much. And quite honestly, we did collect enough money to pay the bill. But I just like some explanations from them before we pay the whole bill of why the insurance company said that they were overcharging us.
Well, they had put TPO on there, it wasn't supposed to be, and
No,
then
no,
they
no.
caused
Well,
more problems.
Hold on, Daniel. That's something a little bit different. That's the tarp. And that's at the end of the agenda. We haven't gotten to talk about the tarp.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
I'm just talking about the remediation for the two stores.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I guess my point being, the final payment for Right Way, I'm not prepared to make them yet. We owe them $16,000 technically.
Don't pay it.
I'd really like to negotiate a little bit with them. So as far as final payment, no, not yet. Hopefully they'll call us and they'll talk to us after they receive a good faith payment. We mean well, but they need to answer up first. Any questions or anything on that? Comments?
No,
Okay.
Agree with that one.
The next thing on the thing is Electrical Solutions cannot move the panel. So we had talked about moving the house electric meter from next to the laundry room door. After the flood, it was relocated to kind of a crummy spot aesthetically. The reason it was put there is if they put it inside the laundry room, there's nowhere to put it because of the sink. You need to have 24 inches in front of the panel in all directions. And as soon as you walk in the door where the panel could potentially go, there is a sink. So unless we go through the hassle of moving the sink, the panel has to stay where it is. We could entertain moving the sink, but it's probably not worth it. We just have to find an alternative plan of, hiding those new electric meters. Anybody want to talk about that?
I don't think it matters for aesthetics.
Aesthetics do count. But it's how much do you want to spend to make it count? I mean, we don't want to make the buildings any uglier than they already are. And quite frankly, I think it makes it slightly uglier. But insurance isn't going to pay us to make it look pretty. So it would be out of pocket. And right now, I'm not really looking to spend anything out of pocket. So I'd be happy to just move right along and on to the next subject.
Rob,
Yes.
just a quick question. Is it possible to collect any money back from the insurance company for the cabinets that both outdoor electrical panels were in?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. It was attached to the building and had to be ripped off. So that it's a good question to take to him, and I will be happy to make note of that and bring it up to him in my next conversation.
Because that's going to be an expense either way. Either we rebuild the cabinets or we have to pay money to have it stuccoed behind it and repaint it.
I know that the first thing he's going to ask me is, do we have photos of them? Does anybody think they have in their arsenal photos of those cabinets while they were still on the building?
I
mean,
might.
I'm sorry,
I said I might.
yeah, and I might. So I mean, if we
And
go
I
back,
might.
if we go back and check our photos, the first thing we're gonna have to do is show them what we're talking about, what was on the building, and why it's not there now. And yeah, we can take that to them. It's a possibility.
That's a full access.
So right way electrical solutions. The next thing. Oh,
Excuse me, Joe?
Well, no,
you've got, Joe's iPhone, have got several conversations going on in the background and it's
all right,
overriding.
I'll mute it. I'll mute it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, unmute because the next thing we're going to talk about is oh no, the slope of the roof, not the grade. So
All right.
the next thing is south building roof reslope. The quote from Galloway. Quote came in pretty much right where we thought it was going to come in. Mark and I did sit down with David on Monday and went over our expenditures from the claim of Ian, which we netted $180,000 on that claim. And so far we have spent a good portion of it. However, we do still have enough to take care of this project. And I think David said we'd still have 30,000 left over. So at this point, does anybody want to discuss the quote? Daniel, did you have time to look it over or talk to Galloway?
Yes, I talked to him about it, and that's the way we want to go, is resloping it. You know, we're looking at, it was roughly $15,000 difference between putting the gutter up, which isn't bad, 16,000. Basically, they're going to go into about half of the roof, reslope it, raise it up, and then they'll have to do some flashing work. And Mark brought it up to my attention, which is correct, that we want to match the north building. So I think somewhere in there, there's an additional cost for that. That way they'll be looking the same. And then I brought it up to the attention that we still need the GAF TPO warranty when the project's completed. So that needs to be addressed.
It does say that it has that, and you know, it says 20-year, which I think is what we.
No, well, no, the actual GAF, not from Galway. We need the actual form from GAF Corporation.
The form itself, the actual paper.
Yeah, the form, because that, for them just saying that doesn't mean we have the warranty.
So
the GAF needs to come out here and inspect it, and we need the actual warranty form from GAF, which Galway will present all the information to GAF to get the warranty.
I guess
we need
the big question is the warranty on the entire roof or just the half that
the whole roof, the entire roof.
Should be, right? So,
yes, the entire roof. So we need the warranty before we release the money, because you know we don't want to the final check. So we want to hold back a little bit till they give us the warranty. So because we don't want to be chasing after them after we pay off the 31,000 whatever it is to reslope the roof and not receive a warranty. And they said, well, in-house are guaranteeing it 8 years. Well, I want it from GAF. Okay. So I think my opinion, and we brought it up to last meeting, that a lot of people are for resloping the roof, and I think it's within budget. And as long as we receive the GAF warranty at the end of the project, it has my vote of approval.
Okay, good. Now I am going to jump just a little bit on the agenda, because this budget for the roof has a little bit to do with the tarp, which is at the end of the meeting. And I say that because the tarp was part of the Ian claim also. For those of you that don't know the backstory on the tarp, after Hurricane Ian, Claremont property was, or Claremont, whatever they're called, was contacted to look at the building and give us a number for putting a tarp on the roof. They I guess, misunderstood the wording and they came by the property and they put a tarp on the roof. And a very expensive tarp, as everybody's been calling it. I honestly don't know what a standard blue tarp would have cost. But this was a rather absorbent. The insurance claims denied it. They didn't give us any money for it in the first claim. When we fought with them and we had the public adjuster, we submitted it a second time. And the public adjuster, we had a total claim of $260,000. They got us $200,000, or basically a 23% reduction, or 78% of what we were asking for. So if you look at it that way, we got paid 78% of the TARP money to pay the TARP bill. So that said, I put a call into the owner of the TARP company and I started negotiations with him. He wasn't really willing to budge. He thought he was right. Legally, he cannot file a lien. Well, no, legally he can file a lien, but we can just have it removed. It would be for naught. Then we could sue him for slander. And the only ones that get rich there are the attorneys. So I started saying, all right, well, how about 50%? Will you meet me halfway? We'll go 50-50. He countered me at 75%. So basically the $40,000 bill for $30,000. I told him I didn't have the authority, which I probably don't, and that I'd have to take it up with the board to get their approval. I did bluff him and tell him I could write the check to you today if you settle on 50%. And he declined that. So that all said, I think we have the money. We got 78%. He's only looking for 75%. I'm willing to make the deal with him and pay him off. Anybody want to discuss it with me? Or
How much is the bill, Rob?
the bill is just shy of 40,000. I don't have it right in front of me, but it's 39,900 and something.
But it wasn't in writing that he was supposed to install a tarp instead of a TPO membrane?
There was really nothing in writing. He never had anything in writing. But that said, nobody's denying that they put it on the roof. And we can't, somebody put a tarp on our roof. We can't just go.
It wasn't a tarp, it was a TPO membrane.
And he said on a flat roof, that's the only way to really keep the water out. He said a blue tarp's not going to keep the water out on a flat roof. True or false? I don't know. You're the roofer.
Well, I mean, when I saw it up there, obviously it has more tensile strength than a tarp. We went through storms, but the point is, you know, if he, it's not in writing is the problem, obviously.
Right. I mean, I'll tell you what, Daniel, I mean, I've taken it to the attorney and I've taken it to everybody, and it was put on my plate to negotiate it. And
right, I understand.
I got it down to 75%. If you think you can get it lower, I'd be more than happy to let you give it a wing.
I mean, the problem is, obviously, yes, I believe the TPO would have more tensile strength, stronger in those conditions. But if he informed us that he would have a tarp, that's different. But it's his word against our word, since nothing is in writing, and then we have a problem with that.
If we end up in court, it could go.
It'll cost us more money. So can you go?
There's the possibility he could tack on interest over the past 2 years. Also,
can you go? One last chance? Could you go back? We can. I mean, I would approve, you know, making the deal at this point, but if give it one more try and try to get it, you know, get it for 60% of the deal and see if he'd settle for that and ready to do it now. Why not?
I mean,
and if it doesn't happen, then write the check for the other. Okay. Can we do that?
I mean, I guess I could give it a try, but let's just say it backfires and he gets.
If it doesn't, that's my point. If it backfires, then give him the 75% of the deal.
Well, he could also be pissed and say, I'll see you in court.
Ian, So you want to give them how much we're talking about? Another 15, how much? $15,000?
And I don't know what the difference is
From
between
40 down to 30.
70%, 75%.
And 75% of 40 is 30. It's a
Right.
$10,000 discount.
Right now, we're getting 10,000 off, right? So, well, what's the difference if we go from 25% off to 30% off?
Okay, then make
What's
the
What's
deal.
that 5%?
Just
Have
Just
something
make
to
the deal.
say.
Couple $100?
Give me a minute.
so just make the deal
Right.
then.
Okay,
I honestly, look,
All right.
This
I-
might be something worth hearing, guys.
Yep.
Is both Rob and I have had the conversations with the attorney. And the fact is, yeah, they have problems with their case, but we have problems with ours as well. Because, they submitted the bill, we submitted the insurance company, and we didn't tell them the bill was bullshit as far as we can sell. I'm going back and I know that I told them verbally that this is we never engaged you, we never did any of these things. However, we did not actively fight this because we thought the insurance company was going to pay for it. If the
And we're
insurance
waited too long.
And the problem that I don't know that Rob's made this clear is the insurance company did pay for the 40. It's in the settlement. That whole bill is in the settlement. We're kind of not saying anything about that, but
So we're not losing money.
we're not.
You're trying
That
to.
the whole $40,000 was in the money that we received. They
But
didn't
then
have to
settle
spend
with
money
them.
for everything, but they did. That was part. It was in when we gave it to the public adjuster. We owe this, we owe that. It was part of what they went to the insurance company with. We accepted it. So I think Rob and I's discussions with the attorney is, yes,
Settle.
we have a case, but it is not a case that is a slam dunk. We could go to court and we could end up having to pay the entire $40,000.
No, we don't want to go to court. And if you think that could piss him off, agitate him by going back and renegotiating, then forget it. And Rob, you're the one dealing with the guy. And if you feel that that's a waste of time and we can
But,
get in more trouble, then don't. Okay, just settle with him.
I've thought it over plenty of times in my own head. This isn't my expertise. I never went to negotiating school. I'm a businessman and people try to save a dime here and there all the time with me. So, that's what I tried to do with him. Do I feel comfortable going back like I would in a flea market and try to get him to come down a little bit more? We're talking thousands of dollars. He's already dropped to 10,000. We're saving lawyer fees. I'm
okay, go
comfortable
for it. Settle with it.
paying them.
Rob?
Okay, I
Rob?
vote yes. Go
You
for it.
can't vote on anything. There's no motion. Rob,
Oh, thank you, Mark.
I'd like to make a
I
motion.
just like to vote.
Pay up to,
There you
I'd
go.
like to make a motion to pay up to $30,000 on the TARP invoice.
Okay,
All
I
right.
second it.
I said,
Thank you.
So I guess the proper verbiage would be, we are going to pay 75% of said invoice amount. I don't
Right.
know. It's going to be, I think it's a little less than 30 because it's a little less, whatever the number may be. It's 75% of.
Can you get a receipt from the guy after we pay at least?
He's going to send us a revised invoice.
The attorney.
I would say a revised invoice. We will pay off the invoice after revision.
Right. Thank you, David.
Correct.
Get a revised invoice,
And
pay
the
it off.
attorney
and
also
that'll receipt.
recommends that when we write the check in the memo field, it reads paid in full for all services rendered, blah, blah, blah. He had a
Right.
legal term for it, and I'm sure Dave.
All right.
With
Get
it.
an invoice for
Okay.
75% of the bill from him.
Yep.
Pay it off, write it in there, paid in full.
Okay.
All right.
We vote? Did we vote? Did we
Yes.
vote?
You have a motion in the second.
We have a motion.
You asked for further discussion. You have not asked for a vote.
Okay. Can I have a vote then? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
All right. It's unanimous. Everybody votes in favor of getting rid of that bill. Okay. And yeah, just to reiterate, it is out of money that we've received from the insurance. It's not out of our general budget. And yeah, I feel good about that, getting rid of it. Okay.
Okay, good.
South Building Erosion Project. Joe, time to unmute. There he
I'm
is.
unmuted.
All right, so we're talking about the erosion project. It's the next thing. Soils in place. Carpet.
So I am out of the country. I returned to the US at the end of March. I propose to go ahead and let the dirt settle. Hopefully it gets a couple rains on it. When I get back, I have 3 units, 55, 54, and 53 have paid for landscape fabric and AstroTurf. I need to talk to Diane for 52 to see if she would agree to that. It's $500. She's the only one that hasn't come in on this conversation.
Yeah, I'd
And,
like that done.
once that's done, okay, you want to do it? Then I would
Yeah.
need $500 to purchase the product. And then
Right.
when I get back at the end of March, it'll be laid and it'll be beautiful.
A
Good.
beautiful
Is that
rug.
acceptable?
Yes, thank you, John.
Yeah. It's
Okay. I'm gonna
Okay,
move
you're
along real
welcome.
quick on that because it really doesn't have to do with the whole association. And, we've kind of done our
Agreed.
part. The dirt looks great. It's been rained on a couple times. I
Good.
understand why Joe wants it to get rained on some more. My point was gonna be, it like, we're not losing soil with the rain. The gutter systems are working well and it's pitched really nice. So we're not losing any dirt in the rain and it's filled back up over there.
Rob,
That's
can I
important.
interrupt for a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Did we vote on repitching the roof?
No, we did not.
Are
Yeah,
we
how did we
going
get off
to-
Yeah,
Are
I
we-
was wondering that myself.
Are we going to address that and vote on that?
I don't,
or-
oh, you know why? Because I wanted to talk about the tarp. You're right. I kind of jumped forward to talk about the tarp because we're spending the same money. But that said, there was still money left over after paying for the tarp and repitching the roof.
Okay,
So, I would, put a motion out there that we accept the quote from Galloway to repitch the roof, assuming that Daniel's concerns with the warranty are met.
Right, we
haven't seen-
received the warranty.
I haven't seen their actual contract. I have only seen the quote. I'm not sure what their payment terms are on that, but we should withhold, I don't know,
10%.
10%?
Yeah,
Until we receive the warranty information?
right.
I'll
And then they
second
need
that
to get-
motion, Rob.
And they need to give us their company warranty, labor warranty for 8 years on it. That way, if it drags out a few months, 6 months or all, we're still covered.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor of accepting?
Should I deal with them, or I
Um,
guess I'm the roofing guy, huh?
well, you have been. Yeah, if you don't mind talking to them, that's fine. I don't need another thing on my plate. I got enough with the flood here, so.
That would be great, Danny.
If you want to
Thank
work
you.
on the high land and I'll continue to work on the low land, that's what makes a team. Okay.
All right,
so-
vote on it.
Did we go all in favor? Aye,
yeah,
Aye. I
unanimously decided. Thank you all.
I'll contact them Monday.
So at this point, it looks like we're moving on to new business. Review paint, doors, cabinet quotes, appliance, that's going on. Okay.
Did you receive, Rob, a proposal from Arthur?
We have
Another
our
proposal?
proposal. It's one of the two that was sent out yesterday, right, Mark? You sent them
Correct.
yesterday,
It was sent this morning.
this morning. I don't know if
So
you
you
checked.
did receive another proposal from Arthur this
We
morning?
We haven't received a new one this morning, no. The most recent one came I don't know, Mark, when did it come?
No, the last time I spoke with Arthur, I sent him a list of questions. He sent me back some answers. And I had some more questions for him and he answered them and I said, can we get it in a new quote? And he said, yes, I have not received that yet. So the quote that I sent out is the most recent one I have from him.
Though we asked for some changes.
Yes.
So
So
where are we at with all this right now?
where are we at? This is, it's getting to be a very sticky situation.
We
And
need to move forward soon.
and there's a lot to figure out here. So, as you know, if you've looked at the claim is paying line item each unit individually. For almost everything is the same in every unit because they are the same, except for the kitchens and the little bathrooms. And
Right.
kitchens and baths range, I mean, believe it or not, anywhere from 4,100 on the low end to almost 10,000 on the high end, depending upon the linear footage of cabinet that you had in your kitchen, what covered, square footage wise. It didn't matter whether your kitchen was just done yesterday or it was an original kitchen from when the building was built. It makes no difference to what they're paying in the kitchen. What made a difference was how much counter there or how much cabinet there was. The smallest kitchen had, I think, 8 linear feet of cabinet, and the biggest had 16. So the 16 doubles the amount of money. The money was brought in by that unit. According to the attorney that I spoke to today, it basically belongs to that unit, not necessarily to the unit owner legally. So what he suggested we do is basically let everybody do their own kitchens because most people want to do more. But give them the money that was allocated for their cabinets, but only after the work is done. He said, you want receipts for it all. We have to document that the work got done, that the cabinets got put in. He said, you're basically acting like the insurance company. And, most insurance companies, if it was a wind thing, would want receipts and pay on receipts, not just give money out. Flood is different. They gave the money out. But the money belongs to the association because the association paid for the policy and holds the policy, but it belongs to the unit. So for an example, if your unit got $1,004.91 allotted for a new refrigerator, you go out and buy a new refrigerator, give us the receipt, and we'll give you $1,004.91. A refrigerator is going to cost more than that probably. If you don't spend the whole amount, you don't get the whole amount. If you buy a $900 refrigerator, you get $900 because that's the receipt that we're going to have to turn into FEMA if we ever get audited. There are audits. He said, you may not get audited, but there are audits and they will, pop up out of the blue. And he said, honestly, they love condos because they are more complex and there's more money involved, than just a regular house. And who knows with what's going on in our government with Elon going through all the receipts. Maybe they will look at all these receipts. So at any rate, receipts and then reimbursement is the way it seems like it's going to work.
So question for you.
Yep.
Specifically in my unit, I get zero money for a vanity. I have no vanity.
So
But if I have,
did you have a pedestal sink?
I had a pedestal,
That's why, because there's no vanity, you had a pedestal.
a sink top.
This is so ridiculous.
Well, it says kitchen cabinets, countertops, but it doesn't say sinks in the countertops.
Yes, it does. It says sink top.
So every
No,
unit,
that's the bathroom. It says sink top in the bathroom. It doesn't say sink in the kitchen. It says countertops. It doesn't
right,
say,
well, in a kitchen, there is a line for
Freak out.
I'm looking
taking it
at
out.
your proposed settlement to owners. It says
Yeah.
cabinets, countertops.
We simplified,
Okay.
we simplified the line items. Okay, so if you really want to look, you got to look at the insurance
Okay.
claim itself.
So if my cabinets cost less, but my counters cost more,
Okay, so you gotta remember, okay? If you look at the claim, they're paying every single unit for removing and reinstalling granite countertops. Okay? I know every single unit did not have granite countertops.
Right.
I know Diane didn't have granite countertops, but she's being paid to remove and reinstall granite countertops because it pays more than replacing a Formica one. So in that case, the insurance adjuster was nice to us. And he said, look, if one place had granite, they all had granite. Granite pays the most. We're going to pay you for granite. He's told me the same thing with the texture on the walls. A knockdown texture is a cheap texture. A smooth texture is more expensive. He paid every unit as if it was smooth, even though some of them are
That's
knocked
beautiful.
down.
I love it.
That was, to be nice to us, to give us really what
Nice.
we're entitled to in his view, that they wouldn't fight him on.
Okay, I like it.
So it gets complicated with the countertops, because if you didn't have granite, you don't have it to reinstall. They're not paying you for new granite countertops. You were supposed to keep your countertops. They paid us to take them out and put them back in again.
They didn't, I don't know what they did with my countertop.
And
Nope.
I don't know either. I mean, my countertops are in my lanai, broken nevertheless, but in my lanai.
Rob, my countertop, when they took it off, is granite, and they took it off and they broke it. So I'll be reimbursed for a granite countertop.
No, you won't. Not unless we want to go after the people that broke it, basically.
So what will I get reimbursed for? Formica?
You get the same amount of money as everybody for taking it out and putting it back in. I've asked him about broken stuff, and he said, to be honest with you, it's going to depend upon why it got broken. And
Oh my God.
if it got broken on removal, he said, okay, if it was glued down real hard and they couldn't get it to separate and it broke trying to separate it, if they write that up in a report and we submit the report to him, he'll cover the broken countertops. But he said more than likely they sent in a crew of guys that weren't familiar with removing countertops. They went in, they lifted it without support in the center, and they snapped them in the middle. And I was like, yep, that's what happened to mine. And he said, they're not going to write you a letter saying that, my guys broke them.
Right.
So, again, if we pay all these bills, we should be in good standings with them, and maybe they'll write us a letter.
How much are they paying us for the countertop right now as it stands?
Daniel, don't take this the wrong way, but you've had this documentation for 2 months or more. Every unit, if you haven't looked at it, you really should. I don't know exactly how much they're giving for countertops, because the countertops was based on how much cabinet there was. If you had 10 feet of cabinet, they're giving you 20 square foot of counter to go on that 10 feet of cabinet. If you had 15 feet of cabinet, they're giving you 30 square feet of countertop to put on top of it.
I'll figure it out. I'm not going to worry about it. I have more important issues in my life to deal with. I will figure it out.
I'm
Okay.
trying to explain, but that's good. I mean, there's a lot of important issues going on here right now.
Okay.
All right.
I mean,
will
this is
figure it out.
almost $1 million budget. How many $1 million budgets are you working on? All right. I don't know where we're at right now.
Well, we were answering Rose's question, and Rose, I think I can give you an answer. The challenge is that cabinets were in the budget to be replaced, and looking at that proposed settlement document, and those are some numbers that I put together in a spreadsheet to give us an idea of one option of how this could work. But
Okay.
essentially, if you look under, and I'm sure you're looking right now, there's kitchen, and it says cabinets and countertops. The cabinet number is the full price of your cabinet minus 3.56%, which is what they computed it costs to remove the cabinets. So we didn't pay you, we paid the price of the cabinet as the insurance company figured it out, minus 3.5%. Countertops and sinks are different. They assume that the countertops and sinks weren't underwater. Those will be removed and put back. And so where you see where I say countertop there on the row, assume that means countertop and sink. And then under bath where it says sink top, assume that means sink top and sink, or countertop and sink, whatever you call the top of a vanity. But as you can see, those are much lower numbers. And the reason that those are lower is because the assumption is half of that was spent. We've already spent, we gave it to Right Way to remove them.
Right.
The other half is to put them back, which we're willing to give to the owner. Now, if the owner didn't keep them, then you're right, there's a challenge.
So what I'm asking is if the cabinets cost less than what you're saying we're allowed for the cabinets, but the counter costs more, and you're asking for receipts, can we use the less money we
So
spend?
I again, going back to, and I know you're referring to your unit, you know,
But to
and
all the units, I mean, are you
so
giving
let
us a
me,
dollar amount and we can use that however, but we have to give receipts? Or is it itemized that the kitchen cabinets can't be more than this? If it's more than this, then you pay for that?
well, pretty much, yeah. I mean, look, I've priced the kitchen cabinets from my kitchen, the exact same ones I had, and I had upgraded cabinets. I had upgraded ones. And there's enough in the claim to replace my upgraded cabinets.
The countertop, though, if you have to replace your countertop, it's not.
So I want to kind of go back to Diane's place for a second, because again, they're giving her, I don't know what the counters were, maybe I think it's about
What
$1,100, 52.
Diane, are you 52?
Yeah.
Okay, countertop was 73.20, or the kitchen cabinets were 73.20, and the countertops were 1,100.
Okay, so they're giving her $1,100 to remove her granite countertops and put them back in. Okay, she didn't have granite countertops, so there's no way she's gonna have those granite countertops to put back in. But will $1,100 pay for her Formica countertops that she had? That's what the insurance company is saying. Yeah, she should have plenty of money to put the Formica ones back in. Now, if you had granite and you no longer have granite, that's very unfortunate. Well, my countertops got broke. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I have them, but they're no good. Am I going to be able to put my countertops back in for the money they're giving me? No, probably not, because they're broken.
But you can't use the extra money from the cabinets to pay for the part of the difference for the countertop?
All right, I see where you're getting at there, and I don't know.
Because that's part of your
Quite
claim.
honestly, part of the receipt thing is to try to keep the expenses down as low as possible, so that we do have money to do everything. Okay, this whole crunching of numbers and trying to take things out of the contractor's bids is to get the number within what they're giving us in the claim. And the reason we might be short on money is because we're doing upgrades with flood money. We've already paid Electrical Solutions $40,000 more than what the flood claim allowed for because of code enhancements, raising the meters up. They're not covering that in the claim. So that was $5,000 there. There was a $24,000 bill for fixing landscape lighting, stuff on the roof, running new wires to the units. And because he ran new wires to the units because it needed a ground wire, that's code. They're not paying for that. So we paid out of flood money for things that shouldn't have been covered with flood money. And the doors. We want to upgrade the doors to impact because impact is code. We need to have impact doors or the shutters for them. The policy or we don't have code coverage, so we're not really getting paid for the extra doors. We're not getting paid for the extra electric. So when it comes down to the end, when we start talking cabinets, we're going to be short on money already.
Okay,
So
so let me make sure I'm clear on this. Unit 53 did not have granite countertops.
53 has granite countertops, and they're still in their lanai.
52 had granite countertops.
52
No.
did not. They had Formica countertops.
Okay, 52 is allowed the same amount of money as 53. 51 is allowed the same amount of money as 50.
Right. I said right in the beginning, they are counting every unit as if it had granite countertops.
But 43 is allowed half the amount of money.
And if you look at the claim why, it's because of the linear footage of cabinet. These
Okay.
other people had 15 linear foot of cabinet. You probably had 10 1/4 linear feet of cabinet.
Okay,
The original kitchen was 10 1/4 linear feet. People that improved their kitchen went up to 15 1/4.
got it. Now I understand.
Mark somehow or another squeezed 16 linear feet into his kitchen.
Got it.
2 units had floor to ceiling cabinets, and they paid a little bit more too.
Got it.
Again, it's all in that claim. You can look unit by unit and, basically answer your own questions.
Now I understand. I just got this at 3:00 this afternoon, all
And
of the
I
paperwork.
sincerely appreciate asking the questions because.
Okay, now I understand. So we're on the same page.
Rose and
Yup.
and all the board, these 2 spreadsheets that I created were from the information that has been up on the Google Drive for.
Yeah, I know.
So all I did was condense it into a single page to make it easier to read.
And thank you.
I appreciate you doing that too,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Yeah.
And that's also on Google Drive,
The
spreadsheet you created.
The actual spreadsheet that we're talking about right now is not on the Google Drive because it's not been finalized. Okay, the board, this is the first time the board's getting to discuss it. And I did talk to the attorney today, and there's going to be some changes to the spreadsheet probably. But as soon as the numbers are looked over by persons of the proper caliber, then they'll be put out on the Google Drive for everybody to see.
Okay.
We're not hiding anything. I don't want to put out numbers until they're finalized. If
Okay.
people start thinking they're going to get more or less than what they're actually going to get, I don't need the headaches later. So we want to make sure all the ducks are lined up. All right. What have we got?
So I just want to make sure I understand that the plan is to give the ability to X amount of dollars for the kitchen and cabinets to individuals, and we can hire who we want to build our cabinets and or bring our appliances in, right? That's gonna be the plan.
Correct.
That's correct.
Appliances are absolute. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think we have any reason to go out and try to buy people's appliances for them.
I agree.
The
I
policy.
just want to do the cabinets too, because some cabinets are different than other cabinets, and people can go what level they want to go to. If they want to go to the nicest cabinets in the world, or like me, who wants an intermediate cabinet.
So
That's decent.
this is our time to talk about these kinds of things. And my big problem with just paying out the flat amount that the cabinets are worth is the fact that we are overpaying on other items.
No, I'm 100% agree with that. I mean,
And
I'll come as cheap as I can to
if-
save money.
If we're overpaying on other items and we pay exactly the given amount, we're going to be short in the end.
Correct.
Everybody's got
Being
to realize,
special assessment. That's the thing Rob is not saying right now is all the other things that we're doing, the windows and all the other things that are not part of this claim. And I apologize, Rob, for interrupting you. I know you're trying not to get there. Is if we send money out, that's why he said specifically that you spend money, you submit money, we'll compare it to the spreadsheet, and we'll send you what you're authorized for. You're not going to get any more than what you're authorized for, but all these other projects, you know, the money we got is the money we got, and if it's not enough to do all the things that your board is working on, that means special assessment. We haven't said that in this meeting yet. Everybody needs to understand that. If we're short, the money's coming from you, and we're trying. Your board is moving heaven and earth to try to minimize that or eliminate that. And that's something everybody needs to understand is if we don't have enough money to finish all the things that we're talking about, you're going to get a really nasty letter from me saying, hey, send me $10,000 or send me $5,000. Hopefully you're not going to get that letter, but that's the problem. I think people are missing the boat here is if we don't have enough money to finish all the things that the board is starting at this point, it could be an issue as far as that goes. At this point, we don't know if we have enough to finish all the, you know, the roof sloping and the windows upstairs and the windows downstairs and all the other things that weren't part of the insurance claim money. We hope it is, but if it's not, you know, we send you a check for 5,000 and then send you a bill for 15. That's, you know, I don't know that I'm pulling that out of my rear end, but you know, it could be, you know, Rob and I had a discussion this morning that said, if we're short this amount of money, how much is the special assessment? You know, the numbers he and I were talking about were $9,000 to $10,000. So, you know, we're a little off track at this point. Let's stop worrying about how much money you're going to get and minimize how much money you might have to spend.
Let me be clear what I was saying. I'm not talking about anything about money. I was wanting to know how we're going to allocate to do in the kitchen. If I would like to have my kitchen counter built, however the fuck I want it built, I want it built. And then I will go as cheap as I can. I'm not trying to maximize the money. It was a question so I can make plans. Or we're going to have the WSV or the other people build the stuff. That was the question. It wasn't about nickel and diming. And I understand about special assessments. I have many problems.
and Arnold, I didn't take it that way in any way.
I turned it.
I understand what you're saying.
I might have to turn it up if it don't get out.
Who's talking?
What's going? Oh, my God.
That's Barbara. She's
I don't
talking.
want it to boil over.
Well, I turned it down
You turned it down?
to 2, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
When?
Well, mute it,
When
maybe.
I went-
Barbara, you might want to mute it.
In the middle of it. I didn't know you left there.
Okay. So I have advocated, Arnold, you know, to let people do their own kitchens.
Okay.
That's kind of the way I want to go. It's our decision, you know, and that's why we're having this meeting to talk about it and see if we're all on the same page.
Yeah, it was a simple question.
Yeah, and that right now in the insurance claim, that spreadsheet shows how much each unit should get for cabinets, assuming that we all agree on. I mean, it's the 3% that we charged for removal came from the insurance company. That's what they told us, and that's the number we used. We probably paid more than that, you know, because we got overcharged by Right Way. So the reason I don't want to publish the numbers yet would be if we get a copy of the bill from Right Way and we see that instead of 3%, we paid 5%, then I want to adjust the numbers and pay out what we have, you know, what we have left.
Right.
You know, it's an adding numbers thing, but yes, everybody, if we're in agreement, will get a refund our proposal, Mark's and my proposal to everybody is refrigerator, dishwasher, stove, kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanity, and countertops. And the units that had flooring, we put flooring in there. So that we don't need to be in the flooring business. And there's only 3 units affected by flooring. But again, those 3 units got paid extra money for that unit to deal with the floor.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
Here's the challenge we had, folks. When we started this spreadsheet, there was a question. The gentleman who puts in WSV, who's putting in the kitchens, he's saying, I can do the kitchens for $6,000 a piece. And so we were tempted to say, all right, 6,000 all across the board. And if you want more than that, he'll be happy to give you upgraded whatever. But that's the amount of money that we can spend. Or if you want to do it yourself and get a check for 6,000, or have him do it and pay the difference. Didn't matter. That would have saved $20,000. The challenge we have is
Was the lawyer.
Sorry?
Was the lawyer.
Was the lawyer. The lawyer said, we can't just go as all the kitchens for all 15 units. We have to go by what the insurance company gave us for each unit. Now, in both cases, somebody's not going to be happy. If we'd gone 6,000 all across the board, some people who'd had granite and lost their granite were going to have to pay for their own granite to get back to where they were. On the other hand, because we're doing it this way, some people just had smaller cabinets and aren't going to hit that $6,000 number. As you can see, several of the units don't hit that $6,000 number. So they're going to have to pay more. And we didn't get to make that choice. As it turned out, the lawyer said, this is the way you've got to do it. So these numbers are our first rough draft of how this is going to turn out. They're going to be adjusted. But I think Rob and I really wanted to show you, to try and get hundreds of pages down into one piece of paper, what this is going to look like when the smoke clears. And to David's point, yeah, what we're really trying to move heaven and earth to not have is a, David, what's the word I'm looking for?
Special assessment.
There you go. See,
That's
I don't
the
even like
word we're
saying
trying
that.
to avoid.
I don't even like saying that word.
Yes,
And-
I'm the bad guy.
I will reiterate that the windows came out of the Ian money. It's not coming out of flood money. So, you know, I want to really watch closely that we're spending flood money on flood items and Ian money on Ian items, and not commingling our entire budget. So yeah, I mean, we could go over budget a little bit with the flood because we have a little bit left over from Ian. We saved on insurance this year, so we're going to have a little bit of money there. But I still want to be fiscally responsible and try to follow each line item and try to stay close to budget. And if we do go over, know why. Like knowing that we're paying for improvements that aren't covered by the flood. And if everybody understands that, they should be a lot better if we need to do that assessment with understanding why.
I have a comment. I already contacted a custom cabinet maker because I have a little bit upgraded cabinets, and I'm saving you $2,000 right off the bat from what the insurance quote is giving you. If anybody would like his name, he can pretty much match any of the cabinets, and they're handmade cabinets. And I can tell you, I bought 2-year-old used appliances, so I'm saving you another like $3,000 off of that. So right out of my unit, you've got like $5,000 saved right there. That goes right back into the kitty.
And talking about money going back into the kitty, if there is any surplus when it's all said and done, I would say it goes into, my proposal would be anything that's left over gets spread into our reserves and, to help fund those. That, we don't give back refund checks to people, but, we put it into the entire association.
I agree with that.
We're not
Arnold, if
very,
you want that number for the kitchen cabinet,
Yeah, you can just text it to me. if
Can
you
I
want.
interject? Am I here? Have I been silenced? Can you hear me?
yes, we hear you,
Hi.
Claire.
Hi, sorry I was late. I don't understand. A lot's going around. I'm not a moron, but what I want to understand is when can I put my kitchen back together? And am I getting money before that, or do I have to put it out of pocket and then be billed and then bill for it later? And if that's the case,
Hold
I'm
on, slow
not
down.
happy with that.
One question at a time, and I'll answer them. Give me too many, we're gonna lose track.
Okay.
So, your kitchen is just about ready to have the kitchen done. I mean, your unit, it's been spackled, it's been, everything but the front wall where the window went in yesterday. And that'll probably be done Monday. So your kitchen technically could be started in a week. As far as the money goes, yes, the lawyer said we can only give money out on receipts. So you're gonna need to pay the bill before you get the money from us. That comes from the lawyer. We were gonna hand them out. He said you can't do that. So, I don't, does that answer your question? You want to answer ask the second one?
I'm not okay with that. And
I'm sorry, you're not okay with
yeah,
that.
okay. Just so we know.
Be.
Okay. Thank you,
Rob,
by the way,
And
for
it's not
everything.
my rule, Claire. I mean, this is what the lawyers say. It's
Okay.
the way it has to be.
Rob,
Yes, ma'am. Sir.
I think the one option there would be is if the kitchen is put in by WSV.
That is the other thing. So you have the option of using our contractor, which, yeah, he wouldn't require any money from you up front, and he would invoice us directly.
Okay, well, why didn't you talk about that? That's great.
For our share, for our share. So you know, look, we're not making you get your own. So one thing we didn't say and wasn't mentioned is originally when Mark and I were discussing this, we had two options. Option A was take the small check, which covers all your appliances, and option B was the big check that covers the appliances, the cabinets, and everything. If you took A for just the appliances, our contractor will finish your place at, contractor grade, basically. They'll still do your kitchen and your cabinets. I mean, WSV will do whatever you want them to do. It's just, you'll have a limit. I mean, the limit is what the cabinets are.
That's great.
If your unit's got 5,000 allocated for it, you spend 6,000, you'll get 5,000 of it. If you spend 4,500, you're only getting 4,500.
Okay, I really, this is really good information because I want WSV to do my kitchen.
Then you have nothing to worry about.
So they're gonna pick everything.
So then when am I going to discuss that with?
Well, Patrick would be the guy to discuss it with. He's on the site most days, but not all days. But we could definitely set up an appointment. That would be, something you might want to do.
Okay. Should I
will
text
most
you?
certainly let him know that, you're interested in him or them doing all the work. And I could pass along your information if you would like me to.
I would like you to, please. Thank you.
Well, Rob, and then that raises a bigger question. At some point,
Rob.
you and I are gonna have to contact each of the
Claire,
residents and find out whether they want their kitchens just done or whether they're gonna do it themselves.
Yeah, I think it's still the big check, little check question. And it's
Right.
gonna have to go out to everybody. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Zelda, Claire, do you have any other questions? You had
No, I mean, that's great. I was actually hoping that WSV was going to be part of the process. So
Well,
I'm more than happy
You
for
know,
them
I
to
know
do.
WSB will be more than happy to do any of the kitchens. I probably spoke too quick with saying that they're the ones doing the finish work because we haven't really voted on that yet. But they will still do the kitchens because we're taking the kitchens out and you have an allowance for them. So don't, you can use them if you want.
Okay, so basically walk me through this. So I say yes, WFB, go do this. So I am now, all right, say for example, I have $5,000, I think was the number you're throwing around. Just
It's an example.
for my kitchen. And so they're like, okay, so we write out a plan because there's something different I want in my kitchen. I want to make my table longer. So or more cabinets, for
Right.
example. And it's like, so then what I do is then I just personally write them the check for that extra portion.
Correct.
That's great. Okay, I'm on board for that.
Good.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
Welcome. Okay. Where are we?
I think we have, let me go back here and look. Regarding the electrical solutions, interior plugs, and the plumber, we have two invoices that we would probably as a board need to vote on to move forward on both of those.
As far as for the finish work,
Yes,
um,
we do it now or we wait a month?
David, if we don't need a board meeting to approve a contract like that, do we? Or do we?
How much is it?
I mean, the electrician is only 1,500.
Nope, you don't need a board vote for that. That's a presidential decision.
Plumbing and hot water heaters though were, I believe, 48,000.
Correct.
That one, it probably makes a good sense to make a vote on.
All right.
But we can vote without a board meeting, right? Like we do a lot of times.
Here's the deal is, if you, okay, step back, you guys have something that is time sensitive, the invoice comes in or the proposal comes in, you need to make a decision. You basically put it out to each other and the board basically says, I can live with this, I can live with this, I can live with this. Rob makes a decision, and at the next board meeting, you ratify the decision. If you already have a proposal for $48,000 right now, doesn't hurt to actually say, we approve this, let's make a motion now so you don't have to ratify it later. It's all dollar size, $1,500, that's within the purview of repairs and maintenance of the operating budget, which is the president can make that decision.
So I
You get
think,
up to $48,000, that is a board decision, and you either make the decision in a board meeting or you discuss it so you don't have to call a special meeting to do it, and you ratify the decision afterwards.
all right. So that said, I mean, I don't know that I want to approve the 48 for the plumber without, or either of them really, without having an actual writing. I mean, both numbers were given to me verbally.
Oh, okay. Well,
We,
that answers
I
my
guess
question.
Honestly, I didn't realize that. I thought we had a written proposal. You don't have a written proposal at this point. It's not appropriate to approve it at this point.
I
You
think,
get a written proposal after this meeting in 2 days. You can talk to yourself, to the board can basically say, yep, this is reasonable. We're ready to vote for this. We're going to let Rob execute it in advance of the next meeting, and then we will ratify that decision at the next meeting.
okay. So, that said, we have the two quotes, the one from Arthur King and the one from WSV. Both of them have overlapping items in them. Arthur's still has the kitchens, but yet we have taken the cabinets out. So if you look at our numbers, we're giving 189,000 out for kitchens in that spreadsheet, And we have, Arthur's got 90,000 in there for kitchens. So, we need him to eliminate the kitchens in his bid. WSV has the bathroom vanities in theirs. We need them to remove it from their bid in order for us to have a final bottom line. So I don't think we can really make a decision because we're not looking at final numbers. The same thing, it's like having a verbal. We don't have anything to say, yes, this is definitely what we're gonna go with. So I think between Mark and I, we'll talk to the contractors on site here, tell them exactly what we want: front doors, back doors, interior doors, trim and paint. Everything else we've taken out of their bids and have separately. So once they do that, we should be able to make a final decision on whether and whom we want to use.
But we don't have to wait for another board meeting.
I don't think we need to wait for another board meeting. I'll ask David in a minute, but some things we want to consider without the number, the final number. WSV is going to be done with the windows and the stucco work and everything that we've contracted with them to do by the end of next week. They will move right into the final work that following Monday. They'll start putting in doors and doing trim and painting and moving on. Arthur King says he's 8 weeks out before he can start the job.
long.
That's what
Too
I'm saying.
long.
Timeliness is everything.
It's a long wait. It's a long wait.
Too long, Rob. Too long.
It depends on the money. Really, I still think money is still king.
Arthur King.
Yeah, no pun intended. But no,
Well,
my decision is really weighing towards WSV. We have preliminary numbers. Even with them, they're a little more expensive. I think I can push them a little bit to sharpen their pencils a little bit more. Patrick basically told me today, we'll do it for what insurance pays, which is great. So there's still a little more negotiations to do there. So David, I don't know that. We don't have a contract to approve. We don't have final numbers. It is, it's going to be probably between $200,000 and $300,000. We're going to want the lawyer to look it over before we sign a dotted line for that one. So I don't think we have to wait for the next board meeting or
All right, thanks.
meeting, before the next scheduled one.
You're making it difficult, but what I would say to you is I don't think you have a decision to make today because we don't have anything to approve. Okay? They provide you with a contract with a number. You guys all review it via email and say, I'm okay with this. You send it to the attorney and says, I'm okay with this. At that point, I think either we're going to, because we're talking about real money here, it's a big number. Chances are we're going to have an out of schedule Zoom meeting to approve that document. We don't have a document now. What I would say is we just say, okay, we need to set up a Zoom meeting. They provide it to you. Everybody's good. The attorney's good. Then we have a one item agenda meeting. If it's out of schedule where you don't have anything else to do, 48 hours, you approve the contract. I'm not as comfortable as I would normally, if we're talking about a small number, approve it with presidential authority and ratify it. But if we're talking about big numbers, $100,000 or more, you need to have a board meeting to approve that.
I'm fine with that. And the statute is what, 48 hours to post the board meeting?
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, because we do this by Zoom, it's not that difficult. It's basically they bring us a contract, board looks at it, we look okay, let's send it to the attorney. The attorney's like, change this, that, and the other. It's ready to go. Then we post the meeting. 48 hours later, There's only one thing on the agenda if it's out of schedule, meaning it's not time to have another meeting for all the other stuff we talk about. We just approved the contract at that point. It's a one-item agenda and off we go.
That sounds easy. So I think that's what we'll go with.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
What, the WSV invoice, that looks complete to me. What is it missing?
It's not missing. It has bathroom vanities in it that we need them to take out because we're giving you bathroom vanities in our 189,000.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not,
If
that's
you had
minimal.
one, if you had the pedestal, it's a gray area, but
That's minimal. That's a minimal dollar amount.
it
So the Carpenter King estimate, as far as I can tell, basically the only thing that has to come out is the kitchen.
more or less, yes.
So we're up, I mean, we could basically decide now
We
on
could.
which contractor. We don't have a contract, but
Well,
we
we
could
don't-
decide on.
We don't know for sure if we tell him to eliminate the kitchens. Let's just say the kitchens are 90. So since he's getting 90 for that, he can charge a little less for the doors. I don't know that. I don't know how he derived his contract. So until we ask him to take the kitchens out, we can't just say it's a straight 90. I'm not comfortable in voting on us, on that.
Okay.
And if it's only gonna take 24 hours or 48 hours to set up the meeting, we have the time.
I said I moved to close this
We don't-
meeting.
We don't have to move that fast.
Don't we need to give Arthur a deadline to resubmit and
Yeah.
WSV, both of them resubmit? So we
Yeah, I
can
mean-
close this deal out?
I know that with WSV, it'll be to me tomorrow.
And how about Arthur?
With Arthur, the communications are a little bit slower.
I mean, I even spoke to him this week and you spoke to him this week.
Yeah,
So
He
maybe,
was here, he showed his face here, he had a plumber by, we went over a few things.
well, maybe you need to contact him and make sure he give him a deadline. People work better with deadlines.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
I think he gave us what he thought we wanted. Now we just want him to take the kitchens out. And and if he has bathrooms in he's got vanities in the bathrooms too. So we just need.
So
we're
you'll
really asking
communicate
him to
with
take
him.
things out. We'll get it out to him. Mark and I will put together a scope of work that we need, and we'll send it out to the two of them. And we'll hopefully tell them this is the last time we're going to rebid this, and give us your sharpest pencil quote. I mean, we
And
could
give
be
him a
wasting-
deadline again,
I mean,
a date
look.
that we need it by.
Daniel,
I got it.
if your vote is to go with WSV, because of the time.
No, I don't know what my vote is
Okay,
until,
well, you did say
I-
the timeline was ridiculous and we couldn't do that. So,
well, yeah, but money is important. If we're gonna save, a lot of money, then it's something to consider. But if
then
we're saving,
we're gonna give him the opportunity and we'll tell him we need it within 5 days. And if he
I like
doesn't have it to us, then he's done.
then he's not interested in doing the job anyway,
That's
obviously.
All right,
I agree. 5 days. Thank you.
good. All right, that's the deadline.
Rob, I have a question.
Okay, Paul.
When you say doors, does it include the front door, the lanai slider, and the screen door on the lanai?
It includes the front door.
Yeah,
It includes the back door, the sliders. We're doing all the interior doors, the bathroom, the front hall closet, and the little closet under the stairs.
okay.
It does not include the screen door, but I am working or negotiating for screen door hardware. The latches and the pistons.
Okay.
You're talking
But-
about the screen door on the lanai and on the front door.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. There's no coverage for those doors because they really weren't damaged. The screens were ripped and I'm trying to get coverage for the screens. But that's in the amended claim, and he did warn me that could be 2 months down the road or 3 months down the road. He said that's definitely the slowest part of the process.
Okay.
They put them basically on the back burner and they deal with everything else on the table first. But he said, you will get it eventually, but it's a time consuming process. Any other questions on the floor?
No,
Any other items on the agenda?
no.
I would just like to thank you, Rob, and the board for all the hard work you're doing. I really appreciate it. I know it's not easy and I'm grateful.
Thank you for the thanks. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn then? Or do we need to plan the next meeting first?
The next meeting will, plan would be, April 4th at 4 PM, Friday, April 4th.
Okay, so we'll reconvene at that time, if not before, for special circumstances, which I would all keep your eyes on your email because that'll probably happen. All right,
Rob, can I just ask you where I go to find out the itemized utilities in my kitchen? Where do I go to find that?
Mark's Google Drive. There's a link on the same page as the link for this meeting.
Okay,
And in that file, once you click on there, there's all kinds of files. It's probably under Helene flood claim or something, but it's all out there.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anybody else have anything before we close up?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that emotion.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 I thank everybody. David, thank you very much for attending the meeting also.
Well,
Board members, you have any questions or you want to talk about anything, you got my phone number. Give me a call anytime.